Hey, T.O., I'm going to bust up your eyes, I'm going to whip your ass, and I'm going to beat the shit out of you. You better be ready, boy. All that more pressure stuff don't mean nothing. As long as I'm, like, locked in and I'm focused on what I'm supposed to be doing, nothing else matters around me. That 4-weight world champion, it means everything to me. That's me separating myself. A lot of these guys that they claim is the guys nowadays, none of them can say that they are a 4-weight world champion. He got a lot of weaknesses, though. He's a very good fighter, but I do see a lot of weaknesses. He's not going to correct them overnight. It's going to be the same T.O. that we done seen 1,000 times before. He's going to come out there trying to perform highly, and I'm going to take advantage of it. But as far as the weaknesses, I'm going to keep them to myself.
Before this fight go down in a couple of weeks, Shakur Stevenson already gave us a damn classic banger. Yep, he gave us a classic banger. I don't give a damn what anybody say. That last fight, yeah, that last fight actually it was harder than this fight that he gonna be having with Teofimo Lopez. Oh, let me say it one more time. Yeah, Zepeda is a tougher fight than Teofimo Lopez. Yep, you heard it right here. You heard, and you gonna see. You gonna see on the 31st.
The clock is ticking, and Shakur Stevenson just delivered his message loud and clear. This isn't about playing it safe against Teofimo Lopez. This is about dissecting every flaw he's identified with surgical precision. Fight night is closing in fast, and Stevenson's camp is buzzing with intensity. He's promising to finish Teofimo Lopez completely. Every training session and every combination thrown is his direct response to the critics and skeptics questioning his approach. His entire team believes in what he's building and the mentality he's carrying into this fight. While Teofimo keeps pushing the narrative that Shakur lacks speed, the raw energy and conviction coming from Team Stevenson paints an entirely different picture. Shakur Stevenson has found his zone, and he's prepared to demonstrate exactly why he belongs at the top.
One of the best things we have going for us when a person underestimates you, that's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
The greatest thing we got working for us is this mother thinks we slow.
Yeah, he think he's slow. Like, really, bro?
Well, that's advantage for us.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. I'm just like, I'm really gapped that he thinks that way.
Shakur Stevenson is making sure nobody forgets his status as a 4-division world champion. That's a milestone nobody else in this weight class has touched. For anyone claiming they belong in his conversation, his response cuts deep and carries serious intent. You don't measure up. When the subject turns to Teofimo Lopez, Shakur is convinced he's identified multiple vulnerabilities. These are fundamental issues Teofimo should be addressing, but apparently isn't. Shakur plans to exploit every single one of them when they finally square off. He's staying tight-lipped about the specifics, though, planning to unveil his strategy only when they're standing across from each other under the lights.
Nothing else matters around me. That 4-weight world champion, it means everything to me. That's me separating myself. A lot of these guys that they claim is the guys nowadays, none of them can say that they are a 4-weight world champion. He got a lot of weaknesses, though. He's a very good fighter, but I do see a lot of weaknesses. He's not going to correct them overnight. It's going to be the same T.O. that we done seen 1,000 times before. He's going to come out there trying to perform highly, and I'm going to take advantage of it. But as far as the weaknesses, I'm going to keep them to myself.
This is where respected analyst Tim Bradley steps in to destroy the narrative that Shakur Stevenson plans to simply move and avoid engagement against Teofimo Lopez. Bradley points out that Shakur has proven himself as a legitimate warrior who has participated in multiple exciting battles throughout his professional run. Bradley takes it even further by suggesting that the Williams rematch presented more challenges than what Teofimo brings to the table, dismissing the criticism as manufactured drama. He doubles down on his assessment, declaring that Shakur possesses all the necessary tools not only to secure victory, but to systematically outclass Teofimo Lopez when January 30th.
I just want to remind y'all that where everybody's saying, oh, Shakur, he gonna run against Zepeda with all that pressure and volume that Zepeda brings to the ring. And everybody's saying, Shakur gonna run against Teofimo Lopez once he feel that power, this and that. Okay, just remember this. Shakur gonna do what Shakur gotta do to win the fight. That's it. Plain and simple. Shakur is going to be and do whatever he needs to do to win the fight. Exciting, boring, whatever the hell you want to say, it don't matter. He already gave you a damn banger. Yeah, he gave you a banger, a classic in his last fight. Yeah, so he got to be smart, he got to be in tune, he got to be sharp, and he going to beat and outbox and have...
The bad blood between Teofimo Lopez Sr., who serves as both father and trainer to Teofimo Lopez, and Shakur Stevenson, has reached a boiling point that's produced some harsh predictions. When Tim Bradley breaks down how this fight unfolds, he warns that things won't go the way Teofimo and his father are expecting. According to Bradley, Lopez Sr. will spend the fight screaming directions from the corner about pressing forward and applying pressure, only to watch everything crumble before his eyes. Bradley's reasoning is straightforward and unforgiving. Shakur Stevenson is going to completely destroy his son.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. in the corner saying all kind of ninjas. Get that ninja. Get that mother effing ninja. He gonna have him saying all kind of stuff inside the damn corner. Yeah,
With this massive showdown getting closer by the day, Shakur Stevenson's training camp has reached another level of intensity. His lead trainer, Wally Moses, has laid out exactly how they plan to break down Teofimo Lopez, and the strategy couldn't be more direct. Completely destroy him piece by piece. Moses is drilling this mentality into his fighter every single day, ensuring that every bit of instruction gets absorbed completely. His belief is unwavering that a more refined and continuously evolving version of Shakur will emerge exactly when it matters most, ready to execute their ruthless strategy down to the smallest detail.
This is the fight that I've been kind of waiting for my entire life. I didn't have to make this fight. This is a fight I could have just stayed at 135 pounds. I made this fight happen because I know Teo is one of the guys at 140, but he got a big resume, big accomplishments. And I know there's going to be some doubt with people and fans when I go fight this guy. It's going to be people that really believe that this guy's going to beat me. I'm not on the level that I think I am and I say I am, so I made this fight for that reason. That was, my competitive edge kind of kicked in when I wanted to make this fight.
Mainly, work on your pace, you know what I'm saying? You need a fast pace, I don't think he can keep up with us.
While the anticipation builds and the tension surrounding this matchup continues escalating, the focus turns to what Shakur Stevenson considers the defining moment of everything he's accomplished so far. This represents the opportunity that many observers felt was always going to happen eventually, a career-changing battle against Teofimo Lopez. For Stevenson, this confrontation goes beyond capturing another title or proving his doubters wrong. This is about claiming a moment that he feels has always been destined for him. His entire journey has been building toward this specific night, and the certainty radiating from everyone around him makes it clear he has zero plans to let this opportunity pass him by.
AO knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson.
Looking at this from a different perspective, experienced boxing minds recognize that Teofimo Lopez represents anything but an easy night at the office. Antonio Tarver, who now studies the sport from an expert's viewpoint, believes Lopez performs at his peak when he completely embraces his natural fighting instincts. According to Tarver's breakdown, Teofimo's greatest weapon lies in staying true to his core identity. As someone who fights with speed, shows no fear, brings unpredictability, and commits to dangerous choices that most fighters would never consider making once they step between the ropes.
I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him. Being able to get inside. A lot of times he fights free. He don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say.
Tarver specifically points to Lopez's movement as something that could completely change the fight, explaining how it might enable him to eliminate distance and dictate exactly how the action unfolds. Teofimo doesn't box like someone following a manual. He makes adjustments on the fly, finding whatever approach gives him the best chance to survive and ultimately win. That kind of flexibility, in Tarver's opinion, makes him extremely threatening. He doesn't get caught up analyzing every situation, and when he sees an opening, he attacks without any hesitation.
A live underdog, but if he's to win this fight, I think he has to probably stop Shakur Stevenson. He's going to have to hit him with something, and let's hope Shakur's hands hold up. I still believe if he's in a fisticuff, and he has to slug it out, those brutal hands going to have to hold up if he want to put a dent in Teofimo Lopez.
When the conversation moves beyond Tarver to include other knowledgeable voices, Paulie Malignaggi brings his own insight to the discussion. He considers this matchup one of the toughest tests either fighter has encountered in their careers. Although he favors Stevenson when forced to choose, Malignaggi makes sure to caution against sleeping on Lopez, particularly when the pressure intensifies and people start writing him off. Malignaggi breaks down how Teofimo becomes most lethal when everything seems to be working against him. When critics doubt his chances or predict his defeat, Lopez typically responds with his most impressive performances.
Because there's a replay there. You want to give Shakur the edge, and I do, but Teo is not something to play with, because when he's got his back to the wall, he becomes the most difficult guy to deal with, And he's got his best performances when people count him out. And then when people feel like he's going to win easily, he's got his worst performances. So this is one of those times where Teo could make it really, really interesting. Shakur, for me, is a possible pound-for-pound number one at one time. But if there's a guy who could be a threat to him, it is Teo, because Teo has that little bit of difference-making ability.
Is this a 60-40 fight? Is it still close?
I mean, it's probably 60-40, maybe even higher, but that's a live 30 and 40 by Teofimo, because, again, the way he shows up is very, very difficult and tricky.
Despite that warning, Malignaggi still gives Stevenson a small advantage because of his reliability and mental discipline. He thinks Shakur's technical skills and composed demeanor help him handle chaotic situations better than almost anyone in the sport. However, he's also careful to note that Lopez has the ability to throw off that timing, which could make this fight much more competitive than some people are anticipating.
At first glance, I mean, this is Shakur Stevenson written all over, right? This is Shakur's coming out party. This is where Shakur lives up to the expectation. But there is a tricky element to this fight as well, because Teofimo Lopez always saves his best performances for the moment when you write him off, for the moment when you're ready to say, okay, he's gone too far, now he's going to lose. And his two career wins where he's been an underdog. I think most people were picking him to lose the Taylor fight, but more so than that, the Lomachenko fight. Really, most people were looking for him to lose that Lomachenko fight, and I think he's probably the only guy to have beaten Lomachenko legitimately. So Teofimo has a way of being at his most dangerous when he's got his back to the wall and people are counting him out.
Moving past just this individual battle, Malignaggi sees the fight as something that could reshape the entire landscape of boxing. Both men already carry reputations as pound-for-pound level talents, whether they're currently ranked in the top 10 or sitting just outside those elite positions. But he's convinced that whoever emerges victorious could make a huge leap toward becoming the absolute best fighter in the sport, with Stevenson specifically demonstrating the characteristics of someone who could eventually claim the #1 pound-for-pound spot.
Prime, and he's very, very good, and I think he's possibly, the level of a fighter that could probably be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport if he would just have the right opponents in front of him to beat, because he would beat them. But this is the one guy where it's really, really tricky. It's the one guy that could really offset that is Teofimo, on the right night, of course. Shakur, I think, is a more consistent, better fighter. But Teofimo at his best sometimes looks almost unbeatable, you know? So that's the only thing that gives you some tricky feelings about it. You feel like Shakur is ready to do this and this is the moment, but Teofimo tends to be that guy who's the most dangerous in these moments. So it's tricky.
As January 31st gets closer and closer, there's a growing feeling that this fight might resolve arguments that have been going on for years, or at minimum, push one of these fighters significantly closer to the sport's highest level. While people continue to disagree on the outcome, the importance keeps growing with every new analysis, and both men find themselves under an increasingly intense spotlight.
Great matchup, tough fight. I want to see what Teofimo shows up, because sometimes it's Teofimo, the great fighter who beat Lomachenko, who beat Taylor. That's a tough Teofimo. But then we've also seen him, you know, in off nights.
Right.
And so that's kind of the only doubt, the only question that I have. You know, which Teofimo's going to show up.
Bringing his own perspective to the conversation, Oscar De La Hoya examines this matchup with genuine appreciation for what both fighters bring to the table. He's quick to highlight Lopez's explosive power and incredible athleticism, while also recognizing just how challenging Stevenson has been for opponents to figure out. From where he sits, Shakur's approach has been virtually flawless throughout his entire professional run, with almost no fighters even getting close to cracking his defensive system.
Think about Shakur and Tio. What kind of fighter we have?
It's gonna be a great fight.
What's the most compelling part of the matchup for those two guys?
That's gonna be a great. You know what? Teo's a hell of a fighter. I love Teo. But I love Shakur. His style is almost impossible to break. But if there's a fighter who can break it, it's Teo. But it's going to be a hell of a fight because I love Shakur because he doesn't run. He's right there in front of you. So it's up to Teo to do something, but I think it's going to be a great fight.
De La Hoya identifies Stevenson's world-class jab and masterful distance management as the core elements that have made him so successful. These weapons have enabled him to control elite-level opposition while taking very little punishment in return. But even with that level of respect, De La Hoya refuses to count out Lopez entirely. He argues that if anyone possesses the tools necessary to disrupt Stevenson's game plan, it would have to be Teofimo because of his natural ability and relentless pressure.
What do you think he has to do to kind of deal with a guy like Shakur Stevenson? How would you approach a fighter like Shakur Stevenson if you were Teofimo Lopez with the attributes that he has?
I would think Teofimo, being that technically he's a bigger fighter, bigger size, he's been at the weight class a little more and then just maybe built into it more. I would think he would have to use that, you know, size as an advantage. But it's hard to say because, I mean, Shakur Stevenson fucking good at what he does.
As more and more opinions continue building up, IBF super lightweight champion Richardson Hitchens offers one of the most definitive predictions heard so far. He envisions only one possible result from this confrontation, and he's convinced that Stevenson competes at a level that's simply beyond Lopez's experience. From his analysis, Shakur brings a skill set that represents completely uncharted territory for what Teofimo has faced before. Hitchens recognizes that Teofimo has talent and athleticism working in his favor, but he believes Stevenson's defensive expertise and superior boxing intelligence present challenges that are essentially unsolvable.
Man, Shakur finna fuck Teo up. I don't know. I'm telling you, Teo better wake the fuck up. I mean, at the end of the day...
You think it's competitive, though? It's close?
Yeah, I think it can be competitive.
Yeah.
You know, Teo is real gifted. Shakur is real defensive. And, you know, I feel like when a fight is super defensive, it can play against you also, you know, because if you go in there trying to be really defensive, it can play against you. But Shakur's a high-level boxer, and Teo ain't on Shakur level. Teo know that. And, like I told Teo when I see him, I said it's different. He told me that me and Shakur is used to each other. That's why I feel like it's different. He said Shakur not used to him. So in 2 weeks, we'll see.
When you combine all of these different perspectives together, they create a fascinating overall picture. Lopez gets described as explosive, dangerous, and impossible to predict completely. Someone who can flip the entire fight with one decisive moment. Stevenson gets characterized as methodical, disciplined, and constantly getting better. A fighter whose style forces opponents into frustration and eventually costly errors.
Teofimo, Shakur, I think Shakur. I like Shakur stylistically, you know. Teofimo is a tough fighter as well, but it's gonna be a boring fight, honestly. It's gonna be a chess game because they're both smart fighters. They're very technical, and they're gonna be very defensive to the whole fight, you know.
What gives this matchup such incredible appeal is how these two identities clash against each other. One fighter feeds off disorder and calculated risks, while the other builds his success on accuracy and complete control. Every analyst finds common ground on at least one point. Both men operate at pound-for-pound quality, and whoever wins on January 31st will walk away with much more than just another win added to their record.
I got Shakur. I think it's gonna go all 12 rounds. Shakur is gonna outbox him, I feel like. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if it was to end earlier, you know. But like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from Teofimo. He's a great fighter. He's where he's at now for a reason. But I'm gonna definitely have to go with Shakur on this one. I think he's just on another level.
How does he get the job done? Though? Is it decision?
I think like I said, I'm leaning towards decision.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna outbox him beautifully. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with decision.
Do you think it'll be competitive? You know, Teo had that athletic.
For sure.
He'll have more power, right?
Yeah,
Maybe even more speed.
Nah, for sure. It ain't gonna be a walk in the park.
Yeah,
you know, like I said, two great talented fighters. They both where they at for a reason. It's not gonna be a walk in the park, but I think when it's all said and done, Shakur will be the one with his hands raised.
While the countdown moves forward, the psychological advantage seems to be shifting towards Stevenson's approach. He sees this fight as his moment to prove that years of dedication and sacrifice have been worth everything, while Lopez views it as another chance to shock everyone who's already counting him out. When those two motivations collide, it creates something that demands attention from the entire boxing world.
Trigger Ray winner type of deal. Like, that's how I look at life.
Both athletic.
Yeah, both athletic, both sharp, both really good on their defense, both just very explosive. Like, it's one of them fights. Like, you talking about Marvin Hagler, he used to come and get you. Like, Shakur can do that. Now, you don't know what he's gonna do for this fight. You don't know, but I know he's gonna do whatever he gotta do to win. So.
Who's the elite fighter out of all of them? Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you pick Shakur for Teo, but who's the best of the best? Tank. Who do you feel is the king, the emperor of all the kings?
Shakur.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being honest with you. Like, I've been knowing Shakur since he was like 15. We went to the Olympics together, and just to see how he. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has gotten so.
As fight night approaches, Shakur Stevenson's focus remains absolutely unwavering. He's dialed in, supremely confident, and completely dedicated to taking advantage of every single vulnerability he's convinced Teofimo Lopez will bring with him into the ring. January 31st isn't simply about getting his hand raised when it's over. This is about establishing complete superiority over his division.